Okay.
What they will sometimes do is they'll do hybridomas in-house, and they will then go to a phage company that has a really good library.
Okay.
But I know, like AstraZeneca, because MedImmune is Cambridge Analytic Technology was bought by MedImmune, and then MedImmune did both, and then AstraZeneca bought MedImmune, and so that they do both. Is some of the smaller companies that don't have the large team, they will do one or the other, because building a phage team and building the right library, because there's a lot of poor libraries running around, but you need to have, a really good one. So they tend to do one or the other. Hybridoma is easier to get started with. Phage libraries hybridomas is an immunologist kind of thing, and phage tends to be a molecular biologist until you actually get into the screening.
Okay. Is one of the technologies...
So you need different people.
Molecular biologist. Thank you. Sorry. Is the hybridoma less expensive than phage display overall?
Frequently it is, because you could get started right away. Once you have your library, phage is cheaper.
Okay.
Because it's bacteria.
That's bacteria. That's true, and it's faster. Okay.
Yeah, once you have it. But a lot of times, if you have a poor phage library, the hybridomas are much faster and much cheaper because you have more success.
Yeah. And is it accurate to assume that with a phage display, because it's bacteria, you don't worry about contamination, but contamination is a big deal for hybridoma? Well,
in phage display, at a certain point, you actually have to go into mammalian.
Correct. At the end.
At that point, you do. Phage, you can actually get bacterial contamination. You can get yeast contamination.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But anything with mammalian, it's just much more expensive to work mammalian because you have to use fetal bovine serum and all the other more expensive reagents, whereas bacteria is cheap.
Exactly. Yeah, great. Let's see. Yeah, this is
the problem with phage is like the old phrase we used to say with computers: garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, exactly. And then another question is general question. We hear a lot that some of the companies are going toward a cell-free approach for making therapeutic antibodies, or they don't want to hassle with the CHO, and they're trying to design their antibodies that glycosylation pattern wouldn't be important, so because of that they can use yeast or bacterial expression systems. What is your thought on that?
Well, it's a nice theory. It's kind of like back in the day when they wanted to actually go to corn.
That's true.
It's one of these things is that sounds really good. Have you talked to an immunologist about that yet? There's a lot of platforms in search of a disease.
Yeah.
It's if they could do it, great. I've never seen anybody do it. It's one of these things is that when you think about it, a really good antibody will have life-changing effects. And you put it in, you only have to treat the person once every 5 to 6 weeks. They're very, very elaborate, advanced molecules. Now, if you make a mistake with a little carbohydrate there, instead of curing cancer, you're going to kill the person within a few hours.
Yes, exactly.
So then there's also this thing. There's this thing is the FDA is always really nice to look at new technologies, except if that new technology is not, absolutely nailed down on its safety, they are not going to let you near a human.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly.
There's been a few stories. I mean, there have been a few examples in which it's just shocking what happened to the normal controls.